horror heads. You didn't do it.
Do what?
You used
Charlize Theron!
Fucker, you peaked!
I don't know what you're talking about!
Hey, horror heads.
Hey, guys.
Yes, we have been gone
For a hot minute.
for a few months.
Long story short, we kind of burnt ourselves out and we needed to take a small hiatus.
Honestly, as much as we love horror, and we do,
A lot.
discussing some of the stuff that we discuss, like the serial killers, which happens to be like my favorite thing, believe it or not. No, it's not shocking.
She's a white woman. Of course serial killers and true crime are her favorite thing.
It does tend to take a toll on you.
Yeah.
It's not like a movie where like a fictional movie where it's not real. This shit really happens.
Yeah,
and
it's
Your phone and go to bed after.
Your phone's interrupting us.
yeah, my phone just told me to go to bed.
Anyway, the fact that the stuff that we talk about most of the time actually happened is very mentally and emotionally taxing to us, especially when we talk about it every week.
And we try to make it funny, but, in reality, there are families that
Have been affected by these events.
and it affects us too, because, me being empathic, it's... I try to put a funny spin on this stuff, but this shit really happened, and people are suffering, people have suffered, and people will continue to suffer, so we just felt like, fuck it, we needed a break. As Mark chugs sake.
I took a swig. Oh, God.
You like that shit.
I do like sake, but
Oh, what happened?
Oh, no. What'd you break? Okay.
Oh, there it goes. Oh, shit. Goddamn.
It's because you were covering the camera. Anyway.
Any hootenanny.
So, this episode, Mom's going to talk about something that I have no idea about.
Bullshit.
No!
The whole premise of this was, we don't tell each other what we're going to do. So if you're new here, I'm the mama.
I'm the son.
And we are horror cultural where...
We grow love for all things spooky and macabre. See, I didn't forget.
I actually didn't forget. So I'm going to kick it off this week. Typically, we usually split episodes unless something is so big that one of us will just...
Do a full, 45 to 60-minute episode.
So I'm going to take over. Mark, make sure you keep an eye on the time.
I am.
So we can insert our little commercial.
Yeah.
But anyway, today's episode is Come On, Aileen.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I do know who this is. The one time you bring up a serial killer and I actually know who it is.
Probably because you watched it with me. All
No, I think I might have seen the DVD case, but I never actually watched it with you. Wait, is that why you're mad I said Charlize Theron?
Yes! How would you have known that?
I didn't!
So what made you think of her?
I was
You were in my brainstem!
Well, actually, I was in your belly, but that's a different story. Oh, God.
I'm sorry, you know how we are.
That's funny, though, that it actually still worked out like that.
What made you think of that?
I don't know. You know what? I was kind of thinking of Underworld, and she's in those. Or is that Kate Beckinsale?
That's Kate Beckinsale.
Fuck, what am I thinking of then?
I don't know, they're both hot, so maybe you were just thinking of hot chicks. I don't know.
Well, that checks out.
So,
What was she in?
for those of you who do not know, Aileen Wuornos is the America's most prolific first female serial killer.
Yeah. Like I said, she's a big enough name for me to know it.
Right. All right. So, she has a body count of 7, which we know that you need a body count of what?
What is it, 3?
Yes, to become a serial killer.
Mm-hmm.
So, you little shit.
What?
There's a movie that was made about her called Monster, which ironically is your nickname.
Yeah.
Which came out in 2003. It's a great flick, so if you feel so inclined, check it out. And Mark, who plays Aileen Wuornos in this movie?
Apparently Charlize Theron.
Yes. There's also been multiple documentaries that were made about her. I will put them in the show notes because I can't fucking remember the names of them right now.
You know why I was thinking
It was the same guy that did them. Like, one was like selling a serial killer, and I can't remember the other one. But I will put them in the show notes, so make sure I do that.
I just remembered why I was thinking of Charlize Theron. I was still thinking of that Wednesday show.
Do I have enough to drink? I mean, I've got wine, G Fuel, and beer.
But, yeah, I was thinking about that Wednesday show. The Addams Family thing.
She wasn't in that, was she?
Yeah, but she was in the cartoon movie that came out a couple years ago. She voiced Morticia, that's why. Gotta love ADHD mindsets.
Oh, God. Yeah, I think I'm done with this wine. I think I've had enough.
I am going to
Thank goodness I have beer.
I'm going to stick with my chilled bottle of Sake.
Okay, so, Sake. Alright, so there was also another movie that just came out last year called Aileen Wuornos, America's Boogeywoman.
Yes, that I remember hearing about.
Okay, so this one is loosely based on her marriage to this rich dude in Florida, and I do mean loosely, because yes, I watched it. I really wasn't very impressed by this one.
So you're saying Monster was a better one?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, there you go, guys. Watch Monster instead of America's Boogeywoman.
And who's in Monster?
Mortish. Yeah, we got it. We got the joke.
Yeah, I have watched the documentaries, both movies. I've seen it all. And I think it's because, I don't want to say love for serial killers.
Your fascination.
My fascination with serial killers.
God. Sorry. Took another swing of sake. Continue.
My fascination. I think it's just I need to know what is in their brain. And I've said this before. I know I
should have been a psychology major.
Yeah. They say that some people are born this way, and some people it's
baby. Sorry, Gaga.
Some people, it's
it's like a chemical imbalance, some deformity in their brain.
But then there's another.
It's a nature versus nurture thing.
Nature versus nurture. That's it.
There you go.
Okay.
Not just that they can be born with it, but it could.
But some are.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like some of them
Please
can.
let this be cold.
Some of them can be born with whatever causes them to become psychopathic, sociopathic, or it could be the environment they had grown up in, which is usually a really broken family, like the ones that you see in movies.
Hold that thought.
Oh boy.
All right, so now before I even start, and I know that I do this a lot, but if someone you know or you yourself needs help and you have a mental illness, please get them help or get you help. I say this because Aileen, had she had gotten help, she might not have ever committed the crimes that she committed. And let's start the shit show.
Oh, I have an idea for one that I'll wait. I'll have to discuss this with you after the recording.
Yeah, sorry guys, we do this a lot.
It's been, like we said, it's been a minute, so we gotta get back into the swing.
Into the swing of things. Oh, excuse me.
No.
Okay, so Aileen was born on February 29th, 1956 in Rochester, Michigan.
I thought you were going to say New York.
At first I thought so too. But her birth name was Aileen Carol Pittman. And here goes the shit show already. We're starting strong with this one. Her mother was 14 when she married her father, who was 18. Excuse me, what? 14?
I mean, back then,
in 56,
it was more acceptable to be married off at that age. Because that's how Grandma was. She was pretty young when she got married.
Any whorebag.
Bruh.
She gave birth to Eileen's brother Keith a year after marrying the dad, and then separated from the father 2 months before Aileen was born.
But see, giving birth to a child at 15, that's where it gets weird for me. Oh, God.
So, Aileen never met her father. He was locked up when she was born for sex crimes against a 7-year-old child.
Ugh.
Fucking hell, man. He was later diagnosed with schizophrenia and committed suicide by hanging himself in jail in 1969. Now,
Nice.
I absolutely do not condone murder, unless it's a pedophile.
Yeah.
But damn it, man. Eileen's life was a shit show from the moment she was born, the poor thing. Her mother was a drug addict and an alcoholic and would often not feed her or her brother in order to support her habit, and eventually abandoned her and her brother when Aileen was almost 6 months old, leaving them with her parents, Lowry, I think it's Lowry, because they're from Finland. So I think it's Lowry, and that's the dad, and Britta is the mom, and their children, which would be aunts and uncles, if that's her mom's siblings. It's just weird the way the interwebsticles worded that.
Yeah.
So the grandparents legally adopted them in 1960, but didn't tell them that they were adopted until, she was 12. So
until they were able to comprehend it.
Right. So, her and her brother grew up their whole lives thinking that was their parents.
Yeah.
Trigger warning! They're starting already.
Oh, boy.
It's also said that Eileen's grandfather would frequently beat her and her grandmother, and that both of her grandparents were raging alcoholics. Not only would he beat her,
I already know where this is going.
he would also sexually assault her.
There it is.
And it wasn't just him that was sexually assaulting her. She has stated that a friend of her grandfather's was also sexually assaulting her for many years. Like, this man was just cruel. Diane, Eileen's mom, I guess would send gifts to her kids at some point. And Eileen's cousin, who grew up with her, said that Lowry would take the gifts away from Aileen and not allow her to have them. And the cousin also said that Lowry even forced Aileen to watch, another trigger warning, as he drowned a kitten.
Oh, God.
That fucking piece of shit. He died in 1976 of carbon monoxide poisoning, and I'm not sure if it was suicide or karma, but either way, serves his fucking ass right.
In some situations, it's the same thing.
Yes. Okay, so, at age 11, she turned to tricking herself out by trading sexual favors for money, beer, and cigarettes as a means to survive. Fucking 11 years old. I was climbing trees and riding my bike at 11 years old.
I was in the living room playing Kirby at 11.
With me!
Yeah.
So, now, I didn't want to mention this, but I did see it multiple times, and so I guess I should. Fuck, man. This whole thing is a trigger warning, but here we go again! Trigger warning! It was reported in court appearances by friends, like her trials. Friends of hers, that were friends of hers as a child.
Yeah.
That her and her brother...
Shocked that Lowry let her have friends, but not gifts.
Experimented sexually with each other when she was around 10, which would make him about 11, 12. So, right after this is when she figured out that she could make money and get beer and smokes for, air bunnies, air testicles, doing things to and for boys.
That's a goddamn shame that it's your brain, I can only, I can't fathom the whole concept of being 11 and figuring that out.
Yeah. Ew. That is still not cold enough. Go put the one in the fridge back up in the freezer. Okay. So, it goes without saying that a lot of kids her age treated her very badly, using her for sex, and then not wanting anything to do with her in public places. And it really does disgust me that, her own brother was having sex with her.
Yeah.
But then again, growing up in that household, maybe the grandfather was...
Yeah.
allowing
it, if not encouraging it.
Or hurting him, too.
Yeah.
And it just never got reported.
That is I understand that,
typically, someone that young... And there was no internet back then.
Yeah.
You couldn't, pull up porn on the internet.
Or even, like, go to, like, a web forum to talk about...
There was nothing back then. So to me, that's a learned behavior.
Yeah. Like,
So where the fuck do you learn it from?
Like we said...
You learn it from either having it done to you or seeing it done to somebody else.
Yeah. And,
we're talking about... So she was born in 56, I said?
Yes. So this was
66, 67, 68.
Yeah.
There was literally nothing but newspapers back then.
Yeah.
Because I don't even think Playboy was out back then, was it?
I feel like it's been around for a while. But as I look that up, what I was going to say was, like, I understand that, you know, as a human being, if we're in some kind of abusive situation that we can't get out of, we will try to find some way to cope or, you know, just get that hit of serotonin or dopamine just to make it more bearable.
Right.
But the fact that it led to the siblings diddling each other is what...
Full-blown sex.
Oh, yeah. And that's the most disturbing and depressing part of it.
Yes. It's not like a kissing cousins kind of situation.
It's more than kissing cousins.
We're talking about full-blown siblings, not half-siblings, not, oh my god, I didn't know we were related. We're talking about growing up in the same household.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not just talking about, you know, diddling. We're talking about full-blown sex.
December
and we're talking
1953.
about an older brother. Granted, he might have only been a year or two. I think he was like 2 years older than her.
Yeah, you said like a year or two.
Having sex with his younger sister. And...
Yeah. Both of whom, their brains are not fully developed yet.
Exactly. And when the people were talking about it on the stand, he was allowing his friends to watch and also do it to her as well.
Kind of reminds me of that, what was it? That Jack Ketchum novel, Girl Next Door.
Okay.
Where, like, for those of you that don't know, The Girl Next Door is a novel about, I believe it was a true crime thing, right? Like, it's something
I think so.
I'm pretty sure it was something that actually happened. Basically, this girl is sent to live with her aunt, I think, and her cousins, but they treat her horribly. They lock her up in their basement, and at one point, multiple times actually, the aunt has let her sons and neighborhood boys go and have their way with her.
It's fucking terrible.
The movie was disturbing.
All right, so
back to Aileen.
Back to the story. So there was...
Oh, sorry. December 1953 is when Playboy started.
Okay, so it was out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I highly doubt with the grandfather... Well, hey, he was a pig, so...
Yeah.
He might have had some
probably
stashed in the house.
Probably wouldn't have been able to open up those magazines. They were probably too sticky.
Ew! But you're probably right. Okay, anyway, so there had been speculation that Eileen's actual father...
Say it, just say it.
Trigger warning!
Rip the Band-Aid off.
Could have been her grandfather. That her grandfather was in fact molesting her own mother and got her pregnant, and that her grandfather could have actually been her father.
I am sensing a theme with some of these serial killers.
There was also more speculation that Eileen's grandfather was her own son's father. But again, it's just speculation, and I couldn't find any truth to, those allegations. But...
It's one of those things where it's just like, I heard from a friend of a friend, but it still kind of checks out.
Right. Anyway, she did become pregnant at age 14, and then she was sent to a home for unwed mothers to deliver her son, which was her only child.
Mm-hmm. Is he still alive?
I would think so. It was a very closed adoption, so
I was going to say, I can only imagine how...
Which I'll get into that.
How
just
messed up that child is.
But, again...
If the son ever somehow listens to this, I do not mean offense. I can only imagine what you've gone through. Continue.
Right. I lost my fucking place.
Unwed mothers.
Again... There were lots of rumors swirling that it could have been her grandfather or her grandfather's bestie that was the father to her child. Because remember I told you
that he would let the friend come over and do it.
And her grandfather's friend was a known pedophile.
Of course.
So, there's that. I don't think she's ever said who the father was, if she even knows. Like I said, I've watched everything and I don't remember.
Yeah.
And I even watched those 2 documentaries today while I was waiting for you to come home.
Yeah.
And she never said anything about that there.
So for all we know, she doesn't know.
She may not know.
Yeah.
Anyway, the child was given up in a closed adoption, so I couldn't really find much information on him. And anyway, he doesn't need to be brought into this, so...
Aside from what I said earlier, but moving on.
Yeah, this story could literally be 3 hours long. I'm not even shitting you.
Yeah, you said you had a script of like 10 pages.
I'm only on page 3.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I did want to take some time to explain her childhood so that, it would show that she really didn't have a chance.
Mm-hmm.
And especially without the mental help. And back then, they were like, oh no, you're crazy. We're just going to lock you up. Or throw you out.
Yeah, it was a very puritanical way of viewing mental health back then. The woman is thinking for herself.
Oh, no.
She is a witch.
Yeah.
A witch.
Yeah.
Sorry, I watched Fear Street 1666 recently.
But her mom dumping her off at a young age.
Lesbianism is a sin.
The disgusting and foul shit her grandfather and his bestie did to her. Not to mention getting the shit beat out of her all the time. Well,
beat out of her and beat into her.
Wow.
Sorry. Too far?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Too far. That's literally enough to fuck anybody's head directly up. But it also bears to mention that in her interviews, you can clearly tell she's got intellectual problems.
I was going to say, you could tell that she wasn't quite there.
She's coherent and then she's not. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Anyway.
She's slipping in and out.
Yeah. I didn't see anything about her being born addicted, like with fetal alcohol syndrome.
Yeah, because I know that if the mother's using while she's pregnant,
yes,
those same addictions can be inherited into the child.
But, it's a possibility. And they may not have known that shit back then, so who knows. She was diagnosed after her arrest with several personality disorders, like borderline personality disorder and antisocial personality disorder. And due to her childhood trauma and abandonment, let's sprinkle some PTSD, because, let's just really fuck her up. But, Anyway, after her grandmother passed away, her oh-so-loving fuckface grandfather kicked her out.
Mm.
So, remember this. It's Michigan, and now it's like fall, winter.
Oh, God.
So, she had to resort to living in the woods near his house, and sometimes her occasional air testicles, John, would let her stay due to the horrific cold temperatures outside, and she would stay in abandoned cars and shit. I mean, like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So, believe it or not, though, she did stay in school.
So, fun fact, in homeless shelters and whatnot, I'm sure you've seen, like, what is it called? Bombas?
Yes, the socks.
Yeah, that it actually is true that, like, the most requested thing in homeless shelters is socks.
Uh-huh. Well, she did stay in school. Well, that is until she got caught with some weed and was told to report to the principal's office, to which she stated something along the lines of, bullshit! I ain't reporting nowhere. Matter of fact, I quit. So, what's a girl to do? Head to Florida, of course.
Great!
So here we are.
The crackhead capital of the world!
We're age 16. She hitchhikes her way to Florida.
Where she gets to meet Florida Man.
So once she gets there, she begins prostituting, because, that's all she really knows. Mm-hmm. To make money and to survive, and she got into some trouble while she was at it. She actually did meet a really rich dude and married him, but that lasted all of 9 weeks, and he had it annulled because her temper and her past were an issue, and she beat him with his own cane. She was 20, he was 69, and that's just foul as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
There's a shitload more I can say about her young life, but like I said, this would be a 3-parter, and I'm not doing that, so let's get to the meat and taters of her crimes.
Is she still alive?
No.
Okay, so she was put to death.
Yes.
She gets put to death. She meets whatever god or demon she believes in, and he just looks at her like...
She did believe in God.
So she meets whoever she winds up meeting in the afterlife, and they just look at her like... From where you're standing, it must seem like a real rough... run of bad luck. Truth is, kid, game was rigged from the start.
It really was. Like, she never had a chance.
Yeah.
And this is the kind of shit that pisses me off, because even now, the mental health...
It's still looked on so negatively now, still.
It's like you're a pariah if you have...
Yeah, just bringing up your,
as he chokes to death.
Sorry. Bringing up your mental health nowadays makes you seem like you're trying to do it for attention instead of trying to do it to bring attention to it, like,
Right.
as a whole thing. But, we'll be right back, and we will continue talking about, Aileen Wuornos.
Okay, guys.
Welcome back!
I had to go tinkle. Okay, so.
I hope you enjoyed the ad from insert sponsor here.
All right, so Aileen has said that...
Oh, I was looking for my sake.
Fucking hell. She said that she had her regular customers, but she was also known to walk on the roadside of highways with her thumb out, hitchhiking, and picking up Johns that way. I really don't even want to bring up her ex-girlfriend because...
I don't even want to know where that thumb's been. Sorry.
Well, I think her ex-girlfriend's a fucking bitch. I'm just going to say it.
We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
If you want to know more, you can look it up.
You can just watch the 2 documentaries, but and Monster, the movie Monster. But anyway,
Not me.
she does have a lot to do with what Aileen did, so here we go. But before I start with her, Aileen did have a decent, lengthy criminal record before she ever met Tyria. It just got progressively worse after meeting her. So just a side note here, Aileen did travel all over the place. She was in Florida, got in trouble there, went to, I want to say Colorado or something like that.
It's a hell of a hop, skip, and a jump.
She was all over the country. And then her brother passed away, and she went back to Florida. Like, she didn't just go to Florida, stay there. She traveled all over the place, got in trouble everywhere she went, basically. But also, her brother made her the beneficiary of his life insurance policy, which was $10,000. I mean, you know, that's the least he could fucking do.
You know.
After molesting her as a child, I guess. But granted, he was 12. He was still a child, like I said, which makes me wonder where he knew how to do that. Going back, I think his grandfather did it to him, too. But I digress, and moving along. So, she meets Ty at a bar in Daytona Beach in 1986. God, I was 16.
I wasn't alive.
No. You weren't even a thought in my head yet.
I wasn't even a twinkle in my father's eyes.
So, Ty would be the second girl she had an intimate relationship. And while Ty claims that she did not like Aileen... She did not like that Aileen was a prostitute. Aileen says different. And I happen to believe Aileen. I think Ty didn't want to work, so she made Aileen go out and sell her ass so she had beer money. Because it was known that she liked to go out and drank. She would make her feel bad and say things like, you said you were going to take care of me. You promised. I'm hungry. You know... Now, if you saw pictures of Ty, she a big old girl. I don't think she was starving.
How do you spell her name? T-Y-R...
Tyria, and I think her last name is Moore, Moore. I'm not downing her looks by any means, people, because I would not do that. I am not, like, supermodel status, but...
What was it? T-Y-R...
IA.
Tyria Moore.
You can't take someone with an intellectual disability, which
that's not what I was expecting.
Which I fully believe Ty knew Aileen had, and say shit like that to them, and think it's not going to fuck with their head even more. You know what I'm saying? So, of course, Aileen is going to go out and do what Ty wants because she wants to keep Ty happy. Like, all Aileen ever wanted in her life was someone to love and someone to love her back, and now she thinks she has that, so she doesn't want to let it go. Like, I really don't want to give Ty any more of the spotlight here, so we're just about finished with her ass. So, there comes a point where they're staying in a motel, and Aileen tells Ty she no longer wants to hook anymore.
Yeah.
And I guess Ty didn't like that and said, well, what are you going to do now? And Aileen says she wants to go legit. This is from the movie Monster. And she wants to get a real job. So, not being able to find a real job... because she doesn't have any job skills or anything like that, they start running out of money. Ty says to Aileen, you need to go back to prostituting because I'm hungry and we have no money. Now you saw her, okay? That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
if you ask Ty about this, which they did when she was on the stand...
What I think is... Sorry to cut you off, but what I think is really fucked up about that, it's not the fact that she's like, you should go back to, hooking up with randos because we need the money. And the way she'd phrased it, it wasn't, we're hungry and don't have money. I'm hungry and we don't have money. That's the fucked up part of that.
And she wasn't doing anything to get a job?
Yeah.
How about we both go sell our asses if that's the case?
Yeah, she wanted Aileen to be your sugar mama.
Essentially, that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
So, I fucking lost my place.
If you asked Tyria they asked her at the court.
Oh, yeah. So Ty says that she didn't like Aileen being a prostitute, but if you ask her, she denies that. Mm-hmm. Okay. But Aileen says she knew about it the whole time.
Yeah.
And I don't think Aileen has a reason to lie about that. I mean, who wants to admit that they're a fucking prostitute? Mm-hmm. Not too many prostitutes that I know. I mean, I don't know a lot of them, but...
I don't know any as far as I know.
If I were one, I wouldn't want to admit that shit. I would say I work under... Well, I mean, they technically do work under the table.
God damn it. And you said my joke was bad.
I know. I'm an asshole. Anyway, I think Ty is just saying this shit to cover her ass so she don't look like the raging bitch that she is.
She would need a lot to cover that ass.
I think she comes from, like, a conservative family. Like, she was hiding in the closet for a long time. And anyway, here we go. Let's begin with the murders. Hold on.
Oh, that's right. I forgot this is where this was supposed to go.
Yeah. So, hold on to your ass crack, bitches, because this is where shit starts to get real.
Hold on to your diapies, babies.
So, here we go again.
Trigger warning.
Trigger warning. I should have just fucking called this episode Trigger Warning, because...
That's all it is.
Keep in mind, all of these murders are while she's out prostituting, so Ty has beer money. So here we go. September 30th, 1989. Aileen murders Richard Mallory. She claims self-defense. She says that Richard knocked her out and tied her to the steering wheel of his car. Now, this was in the movie Monster. Mm-hmm. And she also did state this when she was on trial.
That it was a self-defense.
Basically the same, what I'm saying right now. He tied her to the steering wheel of his car, and when she woke up, he was sodomizing her. Mm. I think it wise to mention here that old Richard there, Mr. Tricky Dick, was a convicted rapist.
Of course! Because why would this be easy?
Yeah. She then testifies on the stand that after he was done sodomizing her, he poured rubbing alcohol into her anus.
That's what I was afraid to hear.
And her vagina. And I think she also said he dumped it over the wound on her head. She said he poured some in a Visine bottle and stuck it up her nose.
What?
So he was torturing her.
The fuck does that even do?
Burn!
Well, no shit, but like... Who thinks of that?
A sick fuck.
Yeah?
Now, she did keep a handgun in her purse, which she was able to get to, because I think she was able to break away from the steering wheel, and her purse was on the floor, so she was able to get to her purse, and she got her gun, and she did shoot him multiple times, and I gotta say, can't fucking blame her. Not on that one.
I was going to say, if you said it was a knife, I had a joke, but it's in poor taste at this point.
Yeah, let's not. So, according to both her and Ty, she came clean about this murder, I guess, a day or so, or maybe that day, because she took his car. Mm-hmm. And I don't remember if it was that day or whatever, but she did tell Ty about this murder, and guess what Ty did?
Blabbed.
Nothing.
Really?
She did nothing.
Oh, wait, that's right. I forgot. That's me thinking people are decent most of the time.
Beer money.
Mm-hmm.
So, that was the first one.
First of how many?
7.
I was going to say confirmed.
7.
That, okay. That we know of, I'm assuming.
Yes. Okay. It was a chapstick break. My bad. Mm. June 1st, 1990. So, all of these occurred in a 1-year time span.
All 7 were in 1 year?
1 year.
Damn.
So wait, the first one, what did I say, was September 30th, 1989.
Damn, she was trying to speed run this shit.
June 1st, 1990. She murders David Spears.
I think
By all accounts, David Spears was a very nice guy and actually wanted to make sure his ex-wife was well taken care of. Well, he solicited a prostitute. I mean, I don't know.
I mean...
I did watch, like I said, the 2 documentaries made about her and the Who movie?
The Charlize Theron.
And the other one that I
didn't like that much.
Yeah, I didn't remember.
The one that doesn't really bear remembering too much.
Yeah, because the facts didn't line up.
It was more of a...
It was a dramatization.
I was going to say a dramatic recreation of it and not like a fact-based.
But Aileen... shit.
David Spears.
But from Aileen herself, that she claims that all the men tried to rape her. But anyway, she shot this guy 6 times.
Damn.
Okay, so that was...
2.
June 1st.
Yes.
Keep track of these dates.
Yes, so we got September of 89, June of 90.
June 1st.
Yes.
Now we're on June 6th.
Not even a week later?
June 6th, 1990. She murders Charles, and I'm going to butcher his last name. Oh, I shouldn't have said that.
I just got that.
Karskadon.
Spell it out.
Carskadon. Karskadon.
Karskadon, yeah.
She shot him 9 times.
Damn.
People wondered why she shot him 9 damn times, and she did initially say it was because it was self-defense, but then later...
I'm more concerned as to how she shot him 9 damn times and how she's getting the money for the ammunition.
Yeah, that. She said it was out of cold blood. But, like I said, there's a lot of twists and turns in this case, so stay tuned.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we've got...
September of 89, June 1st, and June 6th of 90.
Troy Barris was found on August 4th, 1990.
She at least took a break for a month.
After being reported
Or 2.
missing on July 31st. Just like David Spears, he was known to be a kind, hardworking guy. His body was already decomposing when it was found, and he was shot twice in the torso. But we're also talking about Florida in the middle of summer.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. It's just like I could see it decomposing quickly because not only does it get extremely god-awfully hot in Florida, the humidity would be enough to break.
And 2 of these bodies, and I meant to put it in here and I didn't, were found near Granny and Granddad.
Oh, shit.
Not like in their development,
but like within
Citrus County where
I was going to say
live,
like within like a certain amount of, like a certain radius.
15, 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm. That's wild.
Sippy.
I'm afraid to drink more sake.
Okay.
I'm gonna do
so, who did I just say? Troy Barris.
Yes, Troy Barris. And that was in August.
Yes. September 12th, 1990.
Another nice month-long break for Miss Wuornos.
Yes. Charles Dick Humphreys, Dick was his nickname, was found. He was a former Air Force major.
Oh, boy.
And a police chief in Florida. He was a well-respected man as well as being a family man.
Mm.
Again, I say, soliciting a prostitute. Now, he wasn't... Not saying he wasn't a nice dude or anything, but you have a wife and kids, my guy. Why are you picking up hookers? And...
Oh, God, that one burned.
From what I remember, these guys were all picked up on the highway.
Yeah.
So she's thumb out on the highway...
Mm-hmm.
And
they're probably
over,
she's taking advantage of the good nature of some people. You know, like you said, they're family men, they're respected, they're kind. They probably picked her up to help her out, and then it got weird from there.
They could have, but again,
because you're saying there's twists and turns. There's no it's not like we can ask them,
and we can't ask her either.
Yeah.
And when you did ask her, you didn't really know
if she was lying or not.
And it wasn't, I don't think she meant to lie. I think her brain was just
got out.
She just,
It was out to lunch. So
the woman had mental issues and never got help.
Yeah.
Even being in jail, she never got help.
So yeah, it could have been, them trying to hooking up with her. But it also could have just been like, oh, well...
Do you need a ride? Where do you want to go?
Yeah. And then, like, they're saying that these men were soliciting for sex just because of the fact that she has a history of prostitution.
Right. So anyway, he was found with multiple gunshot wounds to the head. And now...
That was in September.
All of these guys are found in wooded areas. Okay.
Makes sense.
Just, I forgot to say that.
So let's see, we got December, June 1st, June 6th, August 2nd, I think you said. 4th. And then
September 12th.
September 12th.
Okay.
So that's 5 right there.
So here we go with Peter Seams. Last seen...
Peter doesn't seem anything. Peter just looks dead. Sorry.
Or Symes, S-I-E-M-S. Symes?
Symes seems, yeah, I don't know.
All right, so he was last seen in June 1990 on his way up here to Jersey, and his car was found on the 4th of July.
Rough.
His body has never been found, however.
That's...
Eyewitnesses state that 2 women looking like Aileen and Ty were near his car, but Aileen testified in her trial that she had nothing to do with his murder. And remember, they still haven't found his body.
To this day?
To this day.
Damn.
Her 7th and final victim was Walter Antonio. He was found November 19th, 1990, and he was partially nude. Now, he's the first one that I saw that mentioned that he was partially nude.
I was going to say, all the other ones...
The first guy that sodomized her...
Yeah.
I don't think he sodomized her with himself. I think he used an object.
Yeah.
So
he was... So, yeah, because I was going to say, that's the first one where they specified that they were...
That he was partially
nude.
nude.
Semi-nude to some extent, so...
So he was found with 4 gunshot wounds to the head and back. What does that tell you? The back.
I was going to say, that sounds like a cold murder right there.
He was trying to fucking get away.
Yeah.
You don't just shoot somebody in the back unless they're running or trying to get away from you. So in the movie Monster, I do remember the one guy was trying to help her, and I think it was this guy. I could be wrong. But he was, do you need a ride?
Yeah.
I could be wrong. Like, all of these, it bleeds.
Yeah.
It bleeds together in the brain.
Yeah.
So anyway, Aileen had a habit of taking the cars, the majority of them anyway, from the men that she killed. It's ironic, though, because that's what ended up getting them caught.
Yeah.
Ty was driving one of the cars from the dead guys when they crashed into someone's yard, and the couple came running out, the couple that lived there, came running out to see if they were okay, and the girls took off. The couple, of course, called the police.
Gave them the license plate number and
composite sketches.
Yep.
Which were then plastered all over the news.
Okay, so keep going. But there's a picture I saw, and I want to see if these are the composite sketches that you've seen.
I guarantee it is. So Ty ends up going back home to Pennsylvania with her family, and if we're to believe how it happened in the movie Monster, Aileen is the one that put her on the bus and sent her back home to her parents because she said, I'll never let anything happen to you. I'll put you on the bus myself.
These the ones?
Yep.
I love how... Okay. I find it hilarious how they basically made Tyria's head a fucking circle.
Well, I mean, it's not far
I
off.
know, but it's hilarious.
So...
It's okay to laugh at her. She's a bitch.
Yeah. Yeah. It gets better. Or worse, however you want to look at it. So Aileen is the one that put her on the bus back to her parents. But Ty isn't done yet. Ladies and gentlemen. The FBI gets Ty to turn on Aileen, and Ty sets her up in a phone call. So initially...
We'll give you beer money. Deal!
Initially, when Aileen got arrested, it was for, warrants.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have anything on her yet.
Yeah.
Okay? So, I am by no means saying that Aileen should not have been caught for the murders. That's not what I'm saying at all. What pisses me off is how Ty can act like she was innocent in all this and say she only knew of one murder. I don't believe that for a fucking second. First of all, one murder is bad enough.
Let alone 6.
Period. She should have turned her in then.
Yeah.
You're my son. If you fucking murdered somebody, I'm turning you in.
I would turn myself in.
I would hope so, because I raised you right. You know what I mean?
Even if it was an accidental thing, I would still be like, I need 911. I think this guy's dead. I don't know what happened. I'm freaking out right now.
Like, she should have turned her in then. Like, don't let her keep killing because it benefits you.
Because you get to fuel your own friggin' vices.
Because that's what it feels like to me. She was just letting her do it because it benefits cars and money and
booze.
And, you know, that's what it felt like to me. But once again, I digress. So, just when you think this case couldn't get any more strange, right? It fucking does.
Oh, of course.
I'm glad Aileen caught on to this, though, even though it cost her life. I'm only going to briefly go into this because, once again, I don't want to give these people any recognition at all, really. But there's a woman that decides she wants to adopt Aileen while she's in prison.
I think I remember seeing this part of the movie.
And a hippie pothead lawyer,
of course,
that Aileen gets, that goes along with the two. You have to watch the documentaries. It'll make so much more sense. Like I said,
gets weird.
These two lowlives were in it to exploit Aileen and make money. Mm-hmm. Just like Ty. Ty was trying to get a movie deal out of it.
You got a movie, but it wasn't her deal.
So fuck you, bitch. I'm glad you got nothing. Oh, did I mention Ty didn't get in any trouble at all?
That's bullshit.
Because she struck a deal with the FBI to get Aileen to talk.
That's some bullshit.
And Aileen had no idea.
That is some bullshit.
So anyway, back to the pothead lawyer and the so-called adopted mother, which I think Aileen was actually older
than the mother?
Yeah.
That's funny.
But I never...
It's funny, but in, like, a sad way.
Yeah, I never, like, really dug into that, because I was just like, I'm not giving this bitch any more of my time.
It's that kind of funny where, like, you feel so bad that if you don't laugh, you're gonna cry.
Yeah. So, they were trying to get the documentary guy to pay them $25,000 for these air testicles exclusive interviews, right?
Yeah.
Excuse me. They didn't get $25,000, so thank goodness for that. But
yeah.
Aileen herself even said that she knew they were only in it for the money. Like, she caught on to it.
Yeah. So, like you said earlier,
it's a damn shame.
Like you said earlier, there's a brain up there. It just doesn't want to work a lot of the time.
It doesn't want to work, all, sometimes.
Yeah.
But I'm glad the guy that did the documentaries got to spend quality interview time with Aileen, because the things that she said will fucking blow your mind. So there comes a point where she admits, or we at least think she's admitting, that she lied about the self-defense for the guys, that were attempting to rape her.
Yeah.
When she doesn't realize she's being filmed, the documentary guy asks her again, was it self-defense? And she says, in a lower voice, yes, but I can't say that. She was just so tired of fighting all these court appeals and whatnot. She was just ready to go. She was ready to die. I guess she was just tired of telling the truth, or her truth, because it wasn't getting her anywhere anyway.
Yeah.
And she was just ready to die.
Yeah.
So continuing to say yes, it was self-defense was basically just dragging, the court proceedings even longer. She just kept saying, I'm ready to go. How many times do you have to convict me? How many death sentences are you going to give me?
Before you actually kill me.
Death means death. Like, how many more are you going to give me? And she started to get a little bit political about it. She was like, you're wasting the taxpayers' money. And she wasn't wrong.
Yeah.
Like, she wasn't wrong.
Parading her. It's almost like they were parading her as a martyr.
And I think it was like re-election time.
Ah. So they were trying to drum up.
Bush.
Oh, God.
Was like,
I was going to say they were probably trying to use her as part of their campaign platform.
They were. So, death means death means death means death. Why do you keep giving her death sentences? I mean, I get it for the family's sake. Mm-hmm. You want to give someone a death sentence for taking away that person's loved one, but you can only fucking die one time.
Besides, an eye for an eye and the whole world goes blind.
So anyway, if you want to see all the fuckery that happened with the air testicles, adoptive mom, and the pothead lawyer, I, again, recommend watching those two documentaries. And again, I'll put them in the show notes, because I can only think of the one right now. But yeah, you want to talk about an absolute shit show. Aileen just never had a chance. She never had a snowball's prayer in hell. She just... Bad situation from the day she was born.
Yeah, that's a rough go.
So Eileen's execution was by lethal injection,
Yes, I do remember hearing
and it
about
took
that.
place October 9th, 2002. She declined her last meal. And
I was 9.
Yep. She declined her last meal and opted for a cup of coffee instead. Her last words were, "Yes, I would just like to say I'm sailing with the Rock, and I'll be back, like Independence Day, with Jesus. June 6th, like the movie. Big mothership and all. I'll be back. I'll be back." She died at 9:47 a.m., and she was the second woman in Florida and the 10th in the United States
To receive the death
to
sentence.
be executed since the 1976 United States Supreme Court decision restoring capital punishment.
Damn.
Like I said, there's a lot more twists and turns in this story. I could have made it 3 separate parts, but just watch the documentaries and the movie Monster. You really cannot make this shit up.
I genuinely thought her
I just feel for her.
Yeah.
She
She got dealt a really, really bad hand in life.
literally from the moment she was born.
I genuinely thought you were going to say her last words were going to be, "About fucking time!"
Right. Well, the interviewer guy talked to her the day before her execution, and she was like, "I'm fine. I'm ready. I'm good. I know God and Jesus are waiting for me, and hey, if that's what you believe, that's what you believe." But that, my horror heads, is the story of Aileen Wuornos, America's first and most prolific serial killer.
Woman serial killer.
Woman, female serial killer. So,
Thanks for tuning in.
I know that one was...
It's a hell of a way to come back.
Hey, look, we were coming back with a fucking bang.
Oh, poor choice of words.
Yeah, well, it is what it is.
Anyway, we are going to try to come back with a more consistent schedule.
And we have also been toying around with maybe starting another podcast, something a little on the lighter side. We have to discuss it more.
Yeah, it's just be on the lookout for a potential second podcast from us.
We will let you know if we decide to do it. But anyway, guys, we love you all. Thank you for hanging in there.
Thank you for coming back with us.
Yes, we really do appreciate it. Life has just been a little bit difficult right now, and we're figuring it out still. But it might be bi-weekly for now, till after the new year. But anyway, guys, thank you for listening to Horror Cultural, where
we grow love for all things spooky and macabre.
Thanks, guys. We love you.
See ya.